Welcome back to the channel. Do you want to make your English sound more natural? In this video, learn one way that you can. Very often when native English speakers want to emphasize or confirm something, they will use a tag question. We use tag questions all the time in English. In fact, if you put on a film or a TV series right now, you will probably hear one at some point. So, if you want to make your English sound more natural, you should use them too. I will teach you how in this video. What is a tag question? A tag question is a statement with a question tagged onto the end. For example, you're angry, aren't you? Emily enjoyed the trip, didn't she? We'll talk more about how you form them in this video. First, let's address why we use them. We use a tag question when we already know something is true, but we want to confirm it with the person we're talking to. For example, I am flying tomorrow, and I'm sure that my sister has packed our passports. For confirmation, I would ask her, "You've packed our passports, haven't you?" In many other languages, this type of confirmation is simpler because it comes in the form of yes or no. You've packed our passports, yes? You've packed our passports, no? In English, we use a whole question rather than a yes or no. You've packed our passports, haven't you? And believe me, we use these all the time. Oh, she's tired, isn't she? You'd prefer to go to the park, wouldn't you? You'll call me, won't you? And the purpose of the tag question, we're confirming the statement at the beginning. And this leads me on to how we form them. Now, tag questions can seem a bit intimidating, a bit confusing, but they are worth learning because they are so commonly used in English. Tag questions comprise the original stem sentence and the tag at the end. Whatever the original stem sentence is, positive or negative, the tag is the opposite. So if the stem sentence is a positive statement, the tag will be a negative question. But if the stem sentence is a negative statement, the tag will be a positive question. For example, you studied law, didn't you? She isn't angry, is she? In both of these, the tag is the opposite of the stem. You studied law, positive statement, didn't you? Negative question. She isn't angry, negative statement. Is she? Positive question. And because the tag is a question, we invert the subject and the verb, just as we do for most questions. The stem sentence is a statement rather than a question, so it goes subject-verb. But because the tag is a question, that inverts to verb-subject. You're happy with that, aren't you? Stem statement, subject-verb. Tag, verb-subject. With the verb to be, one of the most common verbs in English, the form of the verb in the stem sentence is the same as the verb in the tag. I'm not next, am I? You're happy, aren't you? They're from London, aren't they? And the same with the past. You were happy, weren't you? An annoying exception is when I is in the negative in the tag. When speaking, it's rare to say, I'm right, am I not? Instead, you would say, I'm right, aren't I? Aren't instead of am not. There's always an exception in English. With regular verbs, we form the tag in the same way you would form the negative or a question. Take the verb I like. Positive, I like this. Negative, I don't like this. Question, do you like this? So the tag question, you like this, don't you? Negative, you don't like this, do you? Third person, Ellie plays the piano, doesn't she? Negative, Anna doesn't play the piano, does she? And it's the same with the past tense. You liked the book, didn't you? David didn't like it, did he? So the verb to be, we invert for the tag, and regular verbs we use do, does, did. But if the sentence has an auxiliary verb, we use the auxiliary verb in the tag. For example, in the sentence you will not tell, or contracted, you won't tell, the main verb is tell, but that's not the one that goes in the tag. Instead, we put will in the tag. You won't tell, will you? You would go, wouldn't you? Again, the main verb is go, but the auxiliary is would, so would goes in the tag. You would go, wouldn't you? We should tell him, shouldn't we? If there is a pronoun in the stem sentence, it is the same pronoun in the tag. Remember, a pronoun is a word that takes the place of a noun. He, she, him, her, they, them, etc. If, however, it's a noun in the stem sentence, then the tag becomes the pronoun of that noun. For example, we wouldn't say, the children have eaten, haven't the children. We would say, the children have eaten, haven't they? We wouldn't say, Becky hated the film, didn't Becky? We would say, Becky hated the film, didn't she? Intonation is important in tag questions. If you don't know what I mean by intonation is the way your voice rises and falls when you speak. So, often in a question, for example, our intonation goes up. Where are you from? Do you speak Mandarin? We use a tag question to confirm something. If we think the statement is correct, but we're not 100% sure, we use rising intonation in the tag. The tone of our voice goes up because it's more of a question. For example, you've understood, haven't you? You don't know where my sister is, do you? Mark has been to Brazil, hasn't he? If, on the other hand, I am 100% sure my statement is correct, my intonation will go down for the tag instead. It's boiling today, isn't it? You play guitar, don't you? Shall we have a little quiz now? I'm going to put 6 questions up on the screen now with the tag left out. Pause the video and fill in the tag. Let's see how many you get right. Shall we have a look at the answers? You weren't at school, were you? The girls haven't eaten, have they? We'll be arriving soon, won't we? You shouldn't have gone, should you? Izzy loves travelling, doesn't she? Daniel can't do that, can he? How many did you get right? We use a tag question to confirm something we already know is true with the person we're speaking to. They are formed by the stem sentence and the tag. The tag is the opposite of the stem in terms of being positive or negative. With a verb to be, we invert it for the tag. If it's a regular verb, we use do, don't, does, doesn't for the present, and did, didn't in the past. If the statement has an auxiliary verb, we use the auxiliary verb in the tag question. They might seem a bit complicated, but you will get the hang of them. And as I have said a few times, we use them all the time in English. So listen out for them when you are watching films, TV series, or videos. And definitely try starting to use them as much as possible too. That's everything. I hope it was helpful. If you have any questions or requests, please leave them in the comments below. I'll see you in my next video, won't I?